In this episode of Running Into History,
I'll show this to the doctor then.
It is 300 acres of serene forest. I hope to live long enough to see this, one of the great scout reservations of America, which will add much to making better boys, better men, and better people in our community by enjoying the privileges of being outdoors.
Down here looking for this abandoned Boy Scout camp, hidden away in these forests and hills over here. In 1941, Mahlon Haines opened up this area to the Boy Scouts, and they began having what he called the Haines Safari. It was so successful that they began doing it every 4 years afterwards. Every 4 years they tried to make it bigger and better than the last one. This lasted until 1960.
We'll see what happens.
I'll show this to the doctor then. There's the old pond. But this entire area is 300 acres of serene forest and fields that were used by the Boy Scouts.
The first Haines Safari was held here in March 1941 to celebrate Mahlon Haines' birthday. At the same time, Japanese spy Takeo Yoshikawa arrived in Pearl Harbor and began sending reports that allowed Admiral Yamamoto to finalize his attack plan.
Is that part of it on the other side?
Yeah, oh yeah, this thing's huge. Yeah, we're gonna go around, it's giant, man.
In 1941, Europe had already been engaged in World War II for the past 2 years.
Trafalgar Square. The noise that you hear at the moment is the sound of the air raid siren. I'm standing here just on the steps of St. Martin's in the Field. A searchlight just burst into action.
So this would bring around hundreds of Boy Scouts camping out here, primitive camping in the fields. You had different tents set up for them, different activities. You can see there was actually a zip line.
Locally, York manufacturing plants implemented the York Plan and shifted from commercial production to military equipment and ordnance to supply allies in Europe. On December 7th of 1941, the attack on Pearl Harbor brought the U.S. into the war.
To bring you a special news bulletin. The Japanese have attacked Pearl Harbor, Hawaii by air, President Roosevelt has just announced. The attack also was made on all naval and military activities on the principal island of Oahu.
The Boy Scout movement was founded in Great Britain in 1908 by cavalry officer Lieutenant General Robert Baden-Powell, who had written a book called Scouting for Boys in 1908.
Oh, see, that's not cool. This thing here is the old Boy Scout mess hall cabin.
The Boy Scouts of America was founded in 1910 and was modeled on the principles established by Powell. The Haines Safari was repeated in 1945, 1950, 1955, and 1960. After the 1960 safari, Haines donated his land to the local Boy Scout council, who began calling it the Wizard Ranch. Haines was known locally as the Shoe Wizard due to his shoe department stores and his shoe house that was built a few miles away. In a letter to the council dated October 1960, Haines wrote, "I hope to live long enough to see this one of the great scout reservations of America, which will add much to making better boys, better men, and better people in our community by enjoying the privileges of being outdoors." Haines passed away 2 years later. The tradition of the Haines safaris was reborn in 1987. But since that time, Boy Scout membership has declined from 4.2 million to 2 million in 2019 and 762,000 as of 2021, as we see a decline in our nation's cultural values.